Okay, well, this is going to have to be a part two. I don't know what happened to my phone. Either it's not working or I touched something or did something. And the video stopped. Okay, now I have my heat gun. Okay, I'm going to put the heat gun on high. Check the power rating. It only goes to 1300, so it is lower power and higher temperature. And I guess it's because the fan is running at a lower speed, and so the fan itself uses less power. And the other thing about it is, with a lower airflow, maybe you actually get a higher temperature of the air temperature coming out of it. It's interesting. Now I have another one here. This one actually says 1875 on it. Maybe that's like a maximum. I'll put this one on high. 1530. So it's quite similar to the other hairdryer, but not quite as high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the hairdryer, even though it's actually higher wattage than my heat gun. The heat gun on low, it says actually is 500 degrees. That still seems extremely high relative to hot melt glue. I read on the internet that the hot melt glue might soften at 200 degrees. 200 degrees would still be maybe tolerable for the hand. I don't know. This might come close to something like that. So I'm going to try the hairdryer. What I'll do is, I'm not going to do it on, I'll put it on pause. I'll hit it with here and I'll see if I can flatten that out a little bit. Okay, so I'll hit pause. Okay, the hairdryer seemed to work okay on this. It definitely melted the hot glue. It didn't melt other stuff. And I was able to push that down, and after it cooled, it seemed to be hardened again. I scraped off some excess glue that was also just kind of lying on top here. And the other thing about this was there were actually this plastic molding itself had two little nubs that were sticking up. And I just shaved those off with a razor blade, utility knife. Just the idea is I want that to be pushed down, not prominent. And then I also noticed that the wall anchors for this attachment were also prominent. They're sticking out from the surface of the wall, and that makes adds to the exact same issue. It's not flat against the wall, and it makes that the porcelain can't mate against the wall surface. So I'm going to try to make these more flush just by hammering them down in a little bit more, maybe punch through the paper on the wallboard, and then see if that will also snug up my fit. So I'll hit pause again. Okay, that seemed to work. I used a hammer. These are fairly flush. I also used a punch just to kind of work on the high areas. It's still a teeny bit proud, but I want to try the fit again, and it could be okay. If that was the issue, I think that should help it. I'll hit pause again. Okay, that seemed to have worked. This attachment piece is now much flusher against the wall, and I noticed that when I put it on, I still had a small amount of rocking, and I can mostly attribute that to the fact that either the back of this is not perfectly flat, or the wall's not perfectly flat, or everything's not perfect. So what I did was, it's just like a little table that rocks maybe. This seemed to have been a slightly low spot, and it would rock if I pushed on that corner. So I put a little tape there, just like you would under the fourth leg of a table. And now that is making contact, so it gives you a firm feel. Okay, so that's going to be a little touch when you hang your thing on there. If you would have put force on that. And the clue is that I noticed on this one, this was always like that. Even though this is much wider and it still only has one single attachment, this gives a firm feel. This was rocking, okay, and for looks like probably a number of reasons it was rocking. So that looks like I'd say that looks like a W. I would say that. There was nothing fundamentally wrong with that. And now it'll fit better, so I feel a little better about that. Thanks. Bye.